The whole thing is we've not gotten to that comprehension of understanding what this total life is all about. And the only way we can understand the totality of existence is first by recognizing who we are, the self. Because what we don't know is that we are the beingness to this universe. We give life to this universe. Yes, we give life to it. We won't build a near where I say no. I'll give you a classical scenario. Let us abandon this building for a while. Let nobody be in this building. After a while, it begins to develop cracks. After a while, the building will depreciate and it's going to fall. Because the energy that sustains the building resonates from our power within us, which is the self.
Oh.
Yes. So everything is in a linear perspective into degradation, but with the presence of us, which is the divine essence within us, we keep the universe alive. This is the whole secret. And this is all that we need. And that's why I keep saying about the self. And as I'm going to talk about the self until it sounds like a broken record, because that is really, really the first and primary thing we need in our lives before all other thing comes. That's why Socrates, when he came, he kept on hammering, know thyself, know thyself, know thyself. No, Jesus Christ came, he was also talking about, who do you say that I am? The I am was talking about I am. When God came, he said, I am that I am. Everything is about the self. And for everything to be in perspective, whether you're a Muslim, whether you're a Christian, whether you're a Buddhist, whether you're a traditionalist, you must know yourself. If you are a Christian, know yourself and be a better Christian. I'm not against Christianity. I'm a Christian by birth and by belief system. If you want to be a Muslim, know yourself and be a Muslim. If you want to be an atheist, know yourself and be an atheist. If you want to be a traditionalist, know yourself and be a traditionalist. Because at the end of the day, all those things, frankly speaking, does not matter. When you ascend the body, the only thing that matters is yourself. All those things, you shred it out. All those things, atheism, Christianity, Islamic religion, traditional religion, it's all within consciousness, all within memory. The day the self ascends, you shed off your consciousness. And you shed off all your consciousness. Traditional worship. The only thing that you see is yourself against your bigger self. What we call God, the macro self and the micro self. That is the only encounter you have. And that encounter is experienced through the light energy. That is the problem. You see, it is when that knowledge of the self, when the effort of trying to know the self is externalized, that is where it becomes religion, traditional studies, traditional religion, Islamic religion, when it's externalized. But when it is internalized, it has no identity because it's just you. And that's the whole thing. And all these cosmological readings and then astrological readings based on the constellations of the stars and then the moon and the sun, all those things is the self which is doing it. And it is the self that controls it.
Okay.
This is what people don't know.
Wow.
Astrology is controlled by the self.
I am looking at the year 2024. Now, all this self here about film, but I want us to stay focused in that area. I said, you know, this self and Kasa Hong Kong. You can't say it will be year reading now. What are the essence of your life reading, yearly reading for my life?
Yeah, necessary because it's like preempting. Yeah, preemptive on probable things that may happen. It's just like weather forecast. Your astrological reading is just like a weather forecast. Now, this forecast they give you, let me use weather as example. That's how in conformity as here. You redo astrology, or forecast. I just say, Obia already weather forecast say in Sobeto or China 2 o'clock. Next month, if you have a next trend we will see. It serves as a guide. One, it may rain or may not rain. If it does not rain, fine. If it rains, what are you going to do? The problem I want to say, we see forecast as a gospel. That there, say AC. Meteo bina or my forecast. And I'll say, I don't want to use a classical scenario of what happened. But now my prediction be, and I'll say, I am marking ABC. And I'm saying that then you have a problem because if you can enter into that dimension and know that this can happen and you cannot get a solution to avert that happening, then there's a problem. Because it is revealed for the purposes of redemption.
Intadena yi kyerɛ wa yehu sɛ we besi afi we obaje bosi ama ada na oka afi we se wohu sa na mani na oba afi obo brabom afi obetu kwa yehu no wo ho ampase besi.
Then I make I say two things. It's either say a basic and I say it's because it's just a prediction. My question is that me who say ABR oka be say and now we screen be pie. I should be able to know what will cause it and what obeya ebe avetino. That's the problem. For instance, let me give you a classic scenario. Say in Subeto, there are 3 levels of insutono, the effect of insutono. It's either saying insunubebo, it's your choice. Or it's either say insunubeto, but you will not allow saying insunubebo. It's your choice. So insutono, I say oh prediction, I am a forecast I catch. Say a beboa, a wow choice. Say amboa, a wow choice. Yet in so netono, say when raise your consciousness to certain dimension, you can stop it. Because say obi me construction was saying so to stop rain. What do you say? So even that prediction, I am from the constellation prediction. If you've risen your consciousness to the level of realizing yourself, you can stop it. It will determine what happened, what should not happen to you. And this is where people don't understand. I had that in Crawford NTRC say how possible. It's synonymous to karmic effect. I think when we did the similar program on your thing, somebody screenshot somebody's concern with regards to karma and all those things. And they said karma is action. You see, what I can tell you is that, you see, some of these interpretations that you see, doesn't matter whether it's coming from the Bhagavad Gita, Vedas, or those people wrote it at a certain dimension of knowledge. When you experience the true knowledge inside, it is different. Because all this karmic effect, the astrological prediction, should also take into consideration the person's karmic effect and the person's own creation. Inti, if remember we are say, na yamo freno in Krabia, isn't it?
When Krabia they be shebre.
Shebre in Krabia. But they are all relative. It's not binding. That's what people don't understand. When you go inside, you understand what I'm trying to say. In Krabia, it's your own creation. You created it. Shebre one now created it. Say shebre bre ayasheshe. Shebre. So you did that arrangement. In Krabia destiny. It is something destination. You agree that this is what you want to do. So if you don't want it no more, you have to change it. But the difference between Ubetumi Asesano now Untumi Sesano is the realization of that, because a self in that agreement. Until when you are not realize the self, then it is practically impossible for you to change it. But when you realize the self, then the self can change it. You understand? So karma na ye can karma nyana. Karma say no more explain karma no. When you meditate and you go inside, then yes ana karma tie.
Say that here.
Now let me explain. Let's just take the physical karma and then what I see how karma works like. Now the physical karma, they talk about cause and effect. The question I ask is that what is the cause and who is the cause and what is the effect? Because if the cause is an effect, somebody is causing something and is bringing an effect. So if literally there are cause and effect, what is the cause and what is the effect? When you transcend this third dimension and go to the higher consciousness, the cause is you. You are the cause.
You caused it.
Yeah, you caused it. You are the beingness. Everything which is happening within manifest creation is your own doing. Whatever is going to happen next 10 years is dependent on what you are doing now. 10 years ago, when the person doesn't know what you are doing now, we tell you it's your karmic effect. You go to a spiritual, we tell you it's a karmic effect. But actually, it's your own creation. So there are 2 types of karma. We have fixed karma, and then we have storehouse karma. These are the 2 types of karma that we have. Now, fixed karma is what keeps you alive in this manifest world. We call it the fixed karma. And then we have the storehouse karma is the karmic effect that you are. So Jesus Christ told them, go and sin no more. Go and create no more karma. Because every action you take, it is stored, waiting for full manifestation of the opposite equal reaction to that action. When you understand life from this perspective, because everything that is happening to you is not something that spirit baby na air. But the truth of the matter is that there is no spirit profound and greater than you are in this world.
Say,
there's no spirit profound and greater than you are in this world, because the only entity we are having the attributes of the divine is man. Let me give you a scenario. Birds do create. Birds, send them but they create at the instinctive level, because they create based on their programming. But we create based on our intuitive level, which is higher than the instinctive level. Now, so what? Look at a bird, sparrows. All sparrows' nests look the same. No, they are all the same. When you pick sparrows' nests, they are the same. When you pick dove, their nests are the same. But humans, when you pick ants, their heels are the same. But only we humans use intuitive level, so we have variation in our ability of creation. Why do we have variety in our ability of creation? Because that variety, the law of variety, operates within the divine intelligence. And a part of that divine intelligence dwells within us, and that is what makes us who we truly are, and that is the self. You see, so we are the most profound within manifest creation. So I say, whether forecast or no forecast, when you realize yourself, life is fine.
Okay, so magic forecast for the year.
Okay.
Maybe I said I fit 2024 forecast better on from nationally, internationally, as in globally. The forecast better on from definitely you have something to tell me.
Yes, but what I am looking at, I'm paying more attention to. You see, I always tell people that knowing things that will happen and having solution to what may happen, they are two different things. And the most profound out of the two is having solution to what may happen, even if you're not aware of. Are you understanding? Knowing whether a thief will come to your house or not is not as important as fortifying your house so that no thief can break through. So that's why this year, on individual base, when you want, yes, a guy coming from the United States, he said he wants relative forecast to his health. I gave him. And I said it beneath it that, but this is not automatic and bound to happen, depending on what he does. I told him, I did all the I told him, look, you are going to have a problem with your this, but know that it is not bound to happen, depending on what you do. Because it's a rain. I've told you the rain is going to fall. Whether you're going to allow the rain to wet your body, it's your choice. Wow. You understand? So what I want people to understand is, yes, the resonation of number 8, which of course today is 8. So when I was coming, I was meditating on this side, but today is 8, and I'm going to talk about the vibration 8. So the energy has begun. So, yeah, so what we are going to talk about is not a prediction, you understand, but the necessary energy that you need in order to act within the space so that the prediction will not have full effect on you. So what we are going to talk about today is not about what prediction you have. It doesn't matter what prediction you have.
Okay. This is general.
Yes. What? No. Not. It's not. It's not about. It's not. It's not about. It is harnessing the necessary energy that would make you withstand in this year.
Okay.
This is we see fear. I can't just say, oh, well, for security camera share say, for barbed wire share say, and then once you are fine with that, those facilities available in your house, you don't really sit down to bother yourself about a thief coming in. So what me how can say then idea say you a fear you be ya e be ma prediction I am my say you need your prediction and then whatever will happen in the year will not have an adverse effect on us. Because it's possible. It's possible if you put the measures in place, yes, they will come, but it will not have effect on you. Because you can be in the world, but not be of the world. Yes. When if you are in the world, but not of the world, it means that, you are, but the happenings within the world does not have effect on you, depending on how you have positioned yourself and equipped yourself. And any the problem of you, we want to hear. But the point is that we don't internalize our own energy, so we can overcome what we want to hear. And you see, idea who say one issue about this issue of prediction or forecast is that what you hear has a tendency to be your own manifestation and creation. My catch that I say whatever is happening to us and around us is our own creation. Let's say, for instance, Yamao forecast to be now forecast now enter into your mind. Already you are the one creating whatever is happening within your space. If that forecast is given to you and there's no antidote to the forecast, what is I'm going to do? You are going to meditate on that forecast. If it is negative, then you give that forecast an energy to manifest in your life. So the fact that somebody gives you a forecast and the thing happens doesn't necessarily make the person powerful or make the person supreme. Actually, you are the power.
But there are powerful people under the sun.
Oh, when we say powerful, you see, sometimes the way we understand the word powerful is even a problem. You see, because what is power? You see, I don't want us to drift. Maybe one day we'll have to talk about what real power is. Because what we see as power is actually not power. Exactly. Because true power is silent and motionless. True power is still. What we call power is always still and silent. You don't feel it. That is why Obroni Enya assembly say empty barrels make what? Make no noise.
Wow.
So when you are doing real spiritual exercise, it is actually always practiced in silence. Oh. So the most powerful spiritual people I have ever known are the most silent people on this planet Earth. Some of them they don't even come out. They don't talk. So sometimes I always tell them, sometimes there are things when I get tired, I just feel like, no, allow them, let them have their own experience. If not this incarnation, they may go to 3, 4, 5, 10 incarnations. They will definitely come to realize it.
Okay.
So are you understanding? They say, "Yafa kwan way so." Now, and I mean, him say, cathedral never. And I'm told there's a cathedral on the way. And you are arguing with me, no, cathedral is not the way, blah, blah, blah. You know, sometimes I just have to keep quiet and watch you because I know inevitably that when you pave that path, you will see that cathedral. Why do I argue with you? So sometimes when I tell people, it's, prediction is this, karma is this, sometimes I go, okay, fine, you're right, you're okay. Somebody, Jesus Christ is there, I say, okay, you're
fine. Argument, no?
Yo, fine, okay, fine. Yeah, I accept what you're saying, fine, okay. Because I know definitely that you are going to come across it. And most of the cases, these people normally come and say, Charlie, I don't know, I don't know. That's how it is. It is like, because you see, true spirituality is the act of knowingness. True spirituality is the act of knowingness. Where you get to that dimension where you know things and you just know because you know, not because you read it from book or somebody told you or somebody invoked a spirit. You know it because you yourself, you are created a miniaturized form of omniscience.
You are God yourself.
Yes. Don't you know that ye are gods and the Spirit of God dwells in you and your body is the temple of the Most High God? So we are gods.
Wow.
And it is in the realization of this self that you can realize your God nature. Realizing your God nature is not necessarily how do you call it? It's not necessarily somebody is sick, you lay on and the person is healed.
Yeah. Maybe say my forecast number may handle the same. I can't so much in both negative and positive, and that is what always happens.
Yes.
Because never be a chair, but can't you into any mensaka.
Good.
But before so you do that, please take us to the year Nankasano. How we will handle ourselves.
Yeah. So when we say Yamao forecast, there's the positive aspect and there's the negative aspect. The reason why you have the positive aspect and negative aspect is that because we live in the world of duality. You are seeing everything in this manifest world is left, right, wrong, right, good and bad, male and female. Now, what people don't understand, one is this: both the negative forecast and the positive forecast anchor at the normal circumstance. When you transcend the manifest, you transcend the personality, those forecasts you must allow it to happen. Yes. Yes.
Hey,
Yes.
Nesia, we shall allow it to happen.
Under normal circumstance, when you transcend personality, because the personality is within duality, but when you transcend duality, where you operate from the unit, you control the duality. So when you control the duality, that is when you get to know that both the good and the bad has a purpose.
Wow.
And they are all to collectively
complement one another.
Complement whatever it needs to come to mind. And the reason why people life ostinate is because there are certain things that need to happen. For instance, literally, you come to work and then I give a forecast. This year you'll be sacked from Happy FM.
Okay.
Is it a good news or bad news? Bad one. But what if you are being sacked to start your own business? And that's the next dimension you are going to go. And that dimension is that you cannot eat your egg and have it. So you need to live happy in order that you meet the person who will finance you to start your own radio station. I'll give you a classical scenario. There was this young man who I used to work with. And one day I called and told him, look, you need to move on. You have to leave this place. He didn't understand me. He was sad. And I saw the sadness in his face, but I know what I was seeing. That 1 year more stay with me is a total disruption of his entire destiny. He didn't know. And I was asking him to go at my detriment because I didn't know who was going to replace him. You get what I'm trying to say?
Get it.
And there's a guy right now, as we talk about, he has set up his own, just I think last 2 weeks, he imported the CNC machine worth over $1 billion plus. He's around 30-something years. He's a very young guy. You understand? And later on, he told the guy that the day I told him to go, he was so sad that he thought that what is he going to do? But now you understand why I told him he has to. And yes,
okay.
The American say who transcend there. You see, when you are within something, you cannot understand the totality of it. And if you cannot understand the totality of issue, you must handle the issue. You understand what I'm saying?
So what is a day cost for abontin? You feel na did cost of bonting gig, doesn't mean the mean Pia Bontin me had a crow. Meshem them out. Didn't the what? And simply be how maka. Nansu Wenny. Hunina, is that what you mean?
That's not what I mean. Let me give you a scenario.
Okay.
When a lady is in labor, she's through pain. Is she bothered by the pain?
No.
Why?
Because of the reward afterwards.
Because he knows that there's a greater thing that is manifesting from the pain. But if she's unconscious of the manifestation that will come out of the pain, then she will try to do things to stop the pain.
Wow.
Because at that level, she was in the pain. So she doesn't know what will come out of the pain in consciousness. But as she knows, she's aware that she is pregnant and something must come out of the pregnancy, and that thing will only come through the act of pain. That pain is a benefit. And when you are trying to give him injection to stop the pain, she may have a problem with you. So this is how life is. That's why I always tell people we must operate from the dimension of the self. But the self understands everything. The self knows everything. He has the blueprint to all things that is going to manifest. And once you know what is going to manifest, you have an idea, things doesn't bother you as they would bother you. Now, one of the things we're talking about this morning when we're coming is, one of the biggest problems we have as a people, and it's still going to be a bother to people this year, is the principle of attachment. Yes, because the world operates on two principles. It's either you are detached or you are attached. The point is people must learn to be detached. Because if you don't learn to be detached, things control you, and then you always struggle to handle issues. Now, when you are detached, you cut off your receptivity to the self. Now, this is what I want to mean. Say, Odoba. There are two ways of Odoba. Either Odoba with an emotional attachment, or Odoba with a detachment. You get the whole thing. Until you see a lady, you fall in love with a lady, and it's with attachment. Say, Nyansa Bano Bekacha or say, fair, Obawe, or yeah, Imasemo, Untieno.
Because of the attachment.
Because of the attachment, your connectivity to receptivity is blocked.
Bao. Ahoma, Eka, wadwene a gene ma tumbo no o de odo na twa na fi
The emotional attachment and a cat. I'll relate it to the voice I make catch on. And Obi a woman knows Charlie. I see this chick that she find I won't go around. Hey, you know this chick? Yeah, don't try. I say, it be so. Because there's no attachment to Okasa. Now, my voice is the self. Your intent is the thought. And the woman is the subject. When your intent, which is the thought, your personality, is not attached to the subject, when the self, which is the voice, the advisor comes, you listen to the advice. But when the personality, which is the intent, is attached to the subject, when the self talks, the intent. That's why Kenny G sang a song. Also, when a man loves a woman, even if he's playing if he's playing for a fool, he's the last man to know. And even if you tell him, he wouldn't believe you because he's in love.
You'll be the last man to know.
Yes.
As a U2 be for Friday and you may U2 for uncle. Because if you're there, you may you too full. May basses ya.
It's important for us to know our readings, which will be individual, because you cannot have a wholesale reading like that.
Okay.
Because actually, astrology itself, in its original practice, if it has to be practiced well, it has to be practiced on individual basis, but not collective basis. Because you are dealing with celestial bodies, and when I want to cast your forecast, it relates to your name, your date of birth, even time of birth is necessary. So you cannot have a globalized, just general astrology that is going to happen to everybody at the same time. So what we are going to look at is, we should rather look at things that, if we receive our forecast from whichever source we receive our forecast, what are the positive traits within this year that is able to help us navigate our way through the whichever forecast we receive? Because we cannot have a generalized forecast. Yeah, we may look at it from a global perspective. You understand? Now, when we are looking at it from a global perspective, we may have to. If you are looking at it from a global perspective, there are a few things we may have to look at.
Okay. So you know the globally. You with my hand global, with my hand continent, with my hand as a country.
Yeah. So globally, if we want to look at the global astrological effects that is going to happen, there are a few things we need to look at. That is, we need to look at issues related to. I wrote them down, but I don't think I wrote it. We look at issues related to money laundering. All international bodies should be able to look at issues related to money laundering. Then we need to also look at issues.
If you mention we should look at issues related to money laundering.
Money laundering, the improper way of transferring black money. You know, we have black money and white money.
I understand.
Yes. So, most of these black monies, they are used to finance activities that does not inure to the collective good of humanity and the safety of our planet. So the global authorities should be able to look at areas when it comes to money laundering. Very, very important. Now, we also...
Is it that it's going to be more in the year?
Yes, it's going to be...
Loopholes?
No, there's going to be more in this year. And then we should also look at issues related to extremism. Yes, extremism. I don't want to mention a specific name so that to appear that you are being biased. But we should look at issues that is related to extremisms.
Where that means?
Extremists, religious extremists.
Okay.
But this is going to create a little bit problem for the world. Yes. There are other issues we need to also look at is the probable engagement of certain isolated issues of... do I call it suicide bombings or something like that?
Okay.
By this extremist society. So when we are having gatherings of a lot of people, the international body should be very, very careful with regards to those things.
Maybe I have a World Cup, baby, event, baby, we should check that.
You should be very, very careful about those things. I think those are the few things that globally we should be able to check. Yes, we should also check. I think child trafficking. Human trafficking, we should also check. It's going to be on a rise because of, those are the things we need to check out. When it comes to the area of business, there are a few areas that we need to check when it comes to business activities that if you want to invest in, as Nyancha talked about. I think I've gotten some of that. We also need to check terrorist organizations. Yeah, they're going to be rising terrorist organization. That's why I was talking about isolated bombings here and there at public places. There are going to be black money and money laundering, illegal weapon dealings. Yeah, there's going to be rising illegal weapon dealing, and then drug trafficking too. So international bodies and world leaders should be able to check all the various security checkpoints on this issue, as well as child trafficking too would be on the rise. Yes, but at the same time, also. For me, these are what is going to happen globally. So all the heads of the global institutions and all those issues, all those areas, yes, I will repeat them again: drug trafficking, child trafficking, terrorist organizations, carryouts, yes, money laundering, extremist movements are going to plant more people because, yes. But as I told you earlier on, whether this is going to happen or not, it depends on what we are going to do. It is not a gospel that it must happen at all cost. If you put measures in place and do what is necessary, it's not going to happen. But if you stand aloof, it's like rain, a bubble. But when you say so no better, now you take measure, corner of umbrella, from raincoat, and for. And then obiso wa ya catch say so better, obiso sini dan unim do be ya inso no ento wo ne importer so. Is it
be one importer no?
Importer no wo inso no ento wo. You understand? So these are the 3 levels. So yeah, the predictions are given, but because these predictions are constellations, are energy exist on the planet. We are not saying it does not exist. It does exist, but it is not automatic and bound that it should have effect on you. When it is evening 9 o'clock, you are supposed to sleep, but you can take non-sleeping pills and you wouldn't sleep. You'll be awake. That's a choice. That's a decision.
You go the extra mile to check security well to make sure
you vet it. It's as simple as that. And that's the problem I'm trying to make people understand. The more astrological prediction and money ain't taking the better side of you. But when it takes the better side of you, then you give it energy to manifest, especially the bad aspect of the astrological readings or the prediction. Because the more bad prediction and the funny thing is that most of when they give us the good predictions, we don't give it much attention.
Okay.
We focus our attention on the negative side. So the good side, they don't happen because we don't give it energy. And we give attention to the negative side, worried about it. And each worry, each disturbance, each stress we have is energy we are sending to that thing and it will manifest. And that is why most of the time the negative predictions manifest than the good side.
Also Diana, obi abon so trouble ko kuro me abon so traces ya oso dae na sika wonya sika de sika mu a da no come bedin da na se de dia
because also we open ourselves loose. You get it.
So what you're saying is ade na ye ka fa ho reading na de ma wo no mo adwen ko papa no so.
Yes, that is one of the ways.
Na etwe papa ne ben ho.
Yes.
De enya no betima si ho kwan check say yes e kom bede on ti check sikasem yi a when I have some betutu sikasem on to ne be ageke.
And one of the first stage when you get your astrological readings or predictions or forecast, one of the first thing you do is you decide in your intellect the things you will accept and the things you don't accept. That is the beginning of your receptivity.
Okay, so the abuboni nyina achiro de ye wo mu no obagye atum
enye de ye wo mu nea wo pe no
de wo pe wo mu no bagye atum.
Yes, you better tell say I feel be worry, but you go and marry a demon. It doesn't necessarily mean it sounds good, so it's going to be good.
And until may be be specific on how we can handle ourselves.
That's what I'm saying. So they can give you a prediction. I feel better car, the car can get you an accident and you die. So that's what I'm saying, that you say it is not about the good or bad, but it's about your ascension. And then they mean to me, because the person, if the person has not developed, I cannot teach the person. But like, for instance, Saturday. Was it a Saturday when I left my phone? On the 5th, I was supposed to meet somebody and give him some items. He should be traveling with it. And to me, too free na me buy me do a man from Junction na I catch him say you return back home. Oh, so we are all human beings. We are within personality, so we all become victim of this circumstance. We also learn to use it to teach other people. And they told you will return back home. And yes, and me branch man, cause me cook as well. So me branch a man from taxi rank and I'm a park here. And I'm saying, instead of me inquiring from a higher intelligence, every guidance, no, because I had that guidance from a higher intelligence that you return back home. What I was supposed to do was to inquire from a higher intelligence that why would I go back home? Maybe branch and I'm saying, and I'm a girl in your money be with you. So then the intellect started playing the role. So me be a bag no more. And I'm sure me bag money na. We say bibia internet. So bibia winter there's no need I'll go back home and I'm close back na me move back no pa. As soon as I got down and I entered into the office, Abraham told me that with your phone, until I realized I wasn't having my phone. So I thought that when we said me cry my phone, so my phone was in the car. So I was about to tell you, the kina car no your phone, I said, Debbie, with your phone with you. Now my friend say, me catch us in my baby and now Madam far with you. I catch us with your phones to near with you. So then eventually I will go back home. That voice. Yes. Did I go back home? I didn't. I changed it. I told my wife to give the phone to somebody to bring it to me. So you see how this whole thing plays. My wife say, me niece no own office because omba hoda. She only knows how to extend the junction. Omba hoda. And I say, obeba, ombra me do omanu phone unkra. Because that statement, you go back home. No, you go back. The self, yes, it's taking a decision that it's not everything that should control me. Yes. So eventually, I didn't go back home. My phone got to me. My niece got a phone. She came. She tried. Located at the place. She blocked the phone to me. And yes, I left the phone all right.
So that's what is that? But then, what me making sure?
Yes. So those are some of the things. You get the whole thing. Because see, even a certain dimension, when the self transmits an intelligence to you, it is like with your intellect and personality to decode that intelligence and how to apply it. You get the whole thing. Because the intelligence gives you a raw state, like we call it crude consciousness. That state, we call it crude consciousness. And when that crude consciousness comes, it's just like you're getting crude oil. You don't pick a crude oil and put in your vehicle. It has to go through refinement.
It's too raw.
And that refinement state is when the crude consciousness is going to the intellect, the emotions, and then your energy level into manifestation. These things are, I don't know, sometimes when I speak about this, I relax because sometimes I believe that people naturally want to suffer. So you just have to leave them.
How?
Because the reason I'm saying that, because these things are so applicable that I've applied it many years to my life and it works without fail. I have taught people who have applied it many years to their life and it's working for them.
So you have the full assurance that this will not fail.
This is something we have piloted, we have used. This is what I've been using almost since I became self-realized. I don't go for go from one spiritual center to another spiritual center, going for invocation. No, I don't. Because the most finest thing you can ever have in this life is to get somebody tell you what you're supposed to do and what you're not supposed to do. And that is why we take consultants. That's why we take counselors. And who is the best counselor in this life?
Yourself.
It's yourself. It is yourself that because when you come to me for counseling, what do I ask? What do I do first? I ask you questions. So yourself must tell me. The reason why you are unable to take decisions at the time of your predicament is because of your attachment to the predicament. Otherwise, there's a banter in there. Your emotional attaché is emotionally attached. So your faculty to receive direction from the self is blocked. So then, you go with marriage counselor. Then the marriage counselor sits down. Then he begins to ask the question. Oh, now then, everybody say. Then okay, munye ni say. And your marriage counselor, no, it had the answers from you. Your business is facing turmoil.
So the way you sit in front of the counselor, your actions, or heavy be put together, not me amount the situations around.
Because it's not around when the thing was happening. When your business is in turmoil and things are not going well, because you are in the business and attached to the business, you cannot reason properly. So then you go to a business consultant for counseling and advice. The business consultant doesn't know what you are doing in your work. He doesn't know anything about your work. He will question you. What is this? How do you spend? How do you relieve customers? How do you do this? How do you do this? By the time he puts all the audible language and the silent message together, there are two messages when you are counseling people. As you sit before me and I'm talking to you, there's an aspect of you I'm reading which you don't speak, but I know, I feel it in you. So when you are lying, I know you are lying. We call it the silent message. And then the aspect of it, we call it the audible message. The audible message is what you are saying. And the silent message are the things that you think
You are not saying.
You are not saying, or you want to say, but you're unable to explain it properly. You understand? That's called the silent. Putting the two together, I would know exactly what went wrong. So, like for instance, somebody will come talk to me about something. Maka say, "Asema wakano, abiaka wom, wanka ni nyina ntira wo." Me wa nye ono no ka asem ne kire me o. Wa ka kire na wo so o ka kire me. But I can tell you say nipa ko no ka asem kire wo je bi wom. Weeks or days later, the person can say, Mr. Message, oh boy, ampa. Each and I see or catch him say BBC and no one can't me. We call it a silent message. You see, so all these things put together, when you are able to connect to yourself, you don't need all these things. I tell when people come say, you don't need me. That's the truth. You need yourself. Find yourself and all these things. Listen, you can handle any situation.
How do we handle this year?
This year must be handled with the concept of balance. Must be handled with the concept of balance, power, and strength. Now, this year when you do, yes, I want to state it again that whatever you're going to talk about the prediction, the energy of the resurrection is not a gospel. It's like a rain which is there. You have to decide. After we talk about that, then I'll give you the things that you need, the raincoats, the umbrellas, and all those things so that the rain will not wet your body. But it cannot stop the rain from falling.
Yeah, uncle.
Now, this year is 2024, and 2024, by the virtue of its numerological calculation, we get to the number 8. Fortunately, today is number 8. So today, I expect that today should be the beginning of the results to the things you want in life, depending on what you do and what you do not do. Now, the number 8 is derived from 2 rings.
2 rings.
Yes, the number 8 is derived from 2 rings.
When you write 8, it's 2 cycles,
2 cycles together, 2 rings.
You saw now it was on your channel.
Yes.
We draw 0, not draw back. What are
down.
What's a chair?
Yes. So when 8 is written in its perfect form, it creates a balance because 2 rings brought together creates a balance. And a ring or a circle represents the symbol of infinity because it's it's very difficult to know where it starts from and where it's going to end. So you just keep going without an end. So and the ring also represents a symbol of power and authority. That is why when you are made a knight, you are made a bishop, you are made an archbishop or whatever it is, or you are made a cardinal, they give you a ring. Or when they give you authority in marriage, you are given a ring. Because a ring is also a symbol of authority and power. So that's why kings and all those people, they have rings they put on. So kawa is a symbol of authority. And at the same time, it's a symbol of strength. Now, authority, strength, balance, and infinity, these things are naturally dormant forces. They are naturally dormant forces. And the pakuna okra force is so activated. So when me give me ring now, they share Moses. I say I give you authority to take over whatever I'm doing. The ring can be on Moses inside, and still Moses, if he doesn't activate that authority, it will be dormant.
How would the person activate that authority?
Yes. So what I'm trying to say is that this year has so much in stock for us, but it depends on what we do to activate what the year has in stock for us. Matisse in Kofo Bebre can say, oh, I feel the be Sikasembe and Banessa. No. Sika womb, but it's a dormant money. It's money at the bank. You need to go in and cash it. What do you say?
Tutti feel Ghana for in a Sika, family Emremia, Nasa.
I think you understand? So when you have money at the bank, you go in and cash that money because money at the bank is nothing until you cash it. You go over $1 million over bank and you're unable to access that $1 million. You'll be considered as a broke man.
You don't have $1 million.
You don't have $1 million. So that's how this year is like. This year has good stuff in stock. At the same time, it has a little bit
attitude ben in because of the balance outcome.
Yes. So Afi, when we want to enter into Afi, we should know one thing, that this Afi is being controlled by the feminine energy. So you need intuition and you need emotions. But the feminine energy deals with intuition and emotions. Now, unfortunately, these two things are the things we need in order to bring manifestation, to bring things that we want into our lives. Intuition is to capture the idea, and emotion is harnessing the necessary vibrational ability in order to bring your desire into manifestation. Say unya idea and you don't develop some conform for a passion, motivation for no friend a passion. You need to develop passion for your intuition. Into idea never okay, me person me year banking this year or enter into banking this year. You need to develop that vibrational frequency, the emotional attachment to that ability to bank before the manifestation will come, because it is being ruled by the feminine energy, which is intuition and emotions. So this year we must be able to open our psychic faculty in order to be able to receive a lot of intuitive directions. Now, there's intuitive directions, which is called the ESPs, extrasensory perceptions. And then the big guide you through this year. I feel you say, I feel men you say.
And I think I now will be now or near Mahono.
And then I saw
dear Chinti was no pan, they are not tea.
Yes, that's why into also an apa, I said to me, dinner, because sometimes you're too busy with the world. And our attention is always outside. And the whole idea of meditation is to still the mind, quiet the mind, and turn the mind's attention to the self so that it will receive intuition from the self. And that is why I call Eastern religions that will be between 30 minutes, 1 hour, quiet. On your okay now. Or meditate. They call it meditation. It simply means people think meditation is some demonic practice. It is not demonic practice. Christians must meditate because it's in the Bible. When we read Joshua chapter 1, verse 8, it says, let not this book of the law depart out of thy mouth, but make sure you meditate on it day and night and do as accordingly written within. Then your way will be prosperous and ye shall have good success. So the Bible mentions about meditation, that meditate. But some part of the Psalms talk about, let the meditations of my heart. So we need to meditate, because meditation is the only way by which we hear from God. Prayer is our way of talking to God. Meditation is we listening to what the energy we call God, that power we call God, that infinite sublime intelligence we call God. Prayer is the way we communicate to that infinite intelligence, and meditation is the way we listen to we receive or listen to that infinite intelligence.
Wow.
And
I feel saying I mean my spiritual life.
So yeah, I feel if there's any advice I'll give anybody, it will be one thing, and you know it already. Find yourself.
Find yourself.
Yes.
Okay. I feel a bit to me about business wise. I feel successful pa.
Yes, I feel there are some businesses where I feel would influence it positively. But yes, I'm going to list a few of them. But it doesn't matter that you can just pick any one at random and enter into it. So person will pick any one. You have to pick the ones which is in consonance with your natural ability and then your energy field. Because some people are water energy field, some people are air energy field, some are fire energy field, and some are earth energy field. So for example, I mentioned say this year the influence will favor real estate, and you are somewhat like air energy field. You don't go and say you're going to enter into real estate. You're still going to fail anyway, because that is not in consonant with your energy field. So what I'm going to list are different works from different areas. So you have to look at it and find out which of them resonates with your energy field, and then you enter into those areas if you so please. Now, when it comes to business area, there's some of the areas that is going to happen is banking is going to do well this year. Real estate is going to do well this year. Relationship therapist, when you want to enter into relationship therapy, is going to be a good one to enter into. Landscaping is going to be a good one to enter into. Anything veterinary doctor, vet, is a good one to enter. Running filling station businesses is a good one to enter into. Printing press is a good one. Screen printing, poultry industry, furniture dealers, cement dealers, funeral services, rescue firms, sanitary wares, building materials, financial consultancy, business related to agriculture and agro-businesses. This is big for this year, real big. Actually, this is the center of, from this year forth, we need to really go into these areas of agriculture very, very seriously. And we'll talk about certain things later on, but it is something we need to really, really, really give it a deep concentration. we have to give it a deep concentration and a deep consideration if we are supposed to make a headway in what is ahead of
Now,
us.
what kind of funeral
Because the
services
point
are
is
those
that-
way? What kind of funeral services be all?
Yes, because I've told you that. Yes, I have told you that the energy of that influence is going to have terrorists and all those negative influences. So if no, so if say you call other attributes, when it comes to the health aspect, that you understand why that area becomes will be profitable, because it's been the energy, that the general energy that will be resonating is being ruled by Satan, and Satan, though it's a good energy, but it's very destructive as well. And Satan is what is really related to in the Bible as the god El. You understand? Raphael, Michael, Gabriel, Israel. You understand? Because Israel is not a nation. As we talk, Israel is not a nation. Israel is a state of consciousness. It's not a nation that people should go to. That we have the state of Israel. The state of Israel is there. And the state of Israel, they call them the Israelis. They are not Israelites. Israelites are people who have attained the consciousness of Israel. And the consciousness of Israel is a consciousness that you are able to prevail in divinity. Because,
it's
more, Jacob,
more,
the name came like Jacob wrestled with an angel and travailed. He travailed in divinity, and his name was changed to Israel. So Israel is a state of consciousness.
It is not the physical nation as we're talking about.
Yes, it doesn't exist. It's a state of consciousness. When you have a spiritual encounter and you're able to travail in your spiritual encounter, because the spiritual exercise is an exercise of force. It's not easy. If I should tell you a lot of things I had to lose and everything to travail to get to where I am today, then you get to that state of consciousness of Israel, because he said, for you have wrestled with God, means you have wrestled with divinity and you have prevailed. So it's a state of mind. You understand? That's why the Bible said that for the kingdom of God suffers violence, and the violent takes it by force. So it's a state of consciousness. When you're able to travail in terms of your divine effort of realizing this yourself, then you become an Israel. Then the generations that come out of you will become blessed generations.
It's called the God El.
So the God, that's the God of Saturday. And that God of Saturday, which is God El, is constructive and destructive. I'm jealous and I share my glory with no man. He's going to open the soil and bury people when they disobey him. That's the God El. And then when you do good for him, it's going to make you win battles. You understand? So he has the positive and the negative polarity. And that is why when you enter into that area of business, those who violate the influences of that influence would face the wrath of him, because he's a vengeance God. Yes, it's a no mercy. He gives strict rules and regulations. You keep.
So what do I do? About my spiritual life at Ninyadeng?
So let me complete with this one and go to the spiritual life aspect. So yes, financial consultancy, agriculture. This is very important to me in the area of fertilizers, animal breeding, and all those areas. We need to consider that it's one big thing we need to pay attention to as a nation and as a universe, as a continent. Now, if you enter into this iron and steel business, is fine. Politics is going to have a good stand this year, but the point is that we need to watch, because we need to watch how we do our things, especially those who are going to have their elections this year. I think your nation, Ghana, is going to have its election this year.
Yes.
So yeah, as Ghana is going to have its election this year, it should be careful of the things it does, because it is being influenced by the God El, which is polarity. It has a good side and a bad side. So if you don't do it well, the other side will be triggered and may lead to possible confusion and misunderstanding. When it is done properly, then we're going to have a very peaceful election. So it all depends on what we are going to do. But politics should be fine. Judicial work should be fine. Film directing and let me put it, general entrepreneurship should be fine. But you have to look at areas that will best fit your space. When I say your space, your element, that's your date of birth, and
check your element. If you are air, you enter into fuel business and stuff like that.
Yes, excellent. If you are fire, you enter into electronics, electrical engineering, and all those things. If you are water, you enter into businesses which is related to the aqua businesses, aqua engineering. We don't know those things.
Fish.
Yes, it's fine. Yes, when you are earth moves in line in consonance with water. So if you are earth, you can still deal in the coastal businesses and all those things. So yes, if
agriculture will best work for you.
Real estate is fine for an earth element. You see, financing, banking is good for an earth element because of their ability to be disciplined and then be more stable not always agitate and
Yeah,
ability to pay
happen
attention
with
to
it,
details. Yes. So yes, now that we have the health aspect. The health aspect has to do. Let's complete with the business.
Okay.
Now, the business aspect of it, no. After having all this thing in place, our actual element, I will choose the specific areas help us all work on. There are a few things you need to know with business. What are the positive traits you need to have, and then the negative traits that is going to make your business thrive or not? Yes, I told you this one are just like rainfall. If it's going to wet your body, it depends on what you're going to do. If you're going to get wet, it depends on what you're going to do. If the rain is not going to beat you, it depends on what you're going to do. So now let's look at some of the things you need to know and do so that in so no air to our embo. You understand? So this we are talking about. We are not talking about prediction. This is not a prediction. This is an internal energy you need to harness and bring it forth in order to cover you up and shield you through the space. Now, the positive effect is that there's going to be financial stability. There's going to be financial stability. There's going to be some level of success in all aspects of businesses when everything is moving on well. You must have great ambition. You must have great ambition if you want to be prosperous in the coming year. You should be orderly, patient, committed, and hardworking. This year. Personal business here we are. But as I told you, there are so many things conceived in the number 8, but it only comes forth according to what you do. It's not something that comes on a silver platter. So you need to be an orderly person. You get everything, because remember that I told you that it is being ruled by the god El, which is the energy, the Satan energy, and Satan God is an orderly person.
Oh, okay,
not
so
a lawless person.
your input determine the output.
Yes. So and you have to be orderly. Yes. Orderly. TikTok. And now you understand. You have to be orderly this year if you want to have any reasonable manifestation in your life, and you need to be patient as you practice orderliness. Okay. Because it's a God of patience. And if you want to walk with him, it says that in the book of Hebrews, somewhere in the book, it says, ye have need of patience, that after thou have fulfilled his will, ye shall receive of his promise. All this is a metaphysical statement, and yet just for theological teaching as we do in the churches. These are metaphysical statements that needs to propel some people from the level of religion into the level of metaphysics.
Wow.
So we need to be committed in the things we do this year. Yes, you need to be very committed. And when you are committed this year, the successes and other things will rain on your path. And then you need to be hardworking this year. Because Satan is a hard God. He gives so much blessings, but you have to pay the price. He told Abraham, take your son, the only son that you got, go and sacrifice him. That thing doesn't come that easy. So the way I can say, I know people asking, no, yes, I feed this guy, but with the internal interest is kind of basana. With the internal interest is kind of, if they are people will end up more poorer than the previous years. Because this year is giving you nothing. The previous year gives you something, it releases it. What I say, but this year has so much but releases nothing. Until you go and knock it, push it. Yes. So yeah, that's for the business aspect of it. The negative traits that I say and have an adverse effect on you is greed. You shouldn't be greedy this year. Your employer, give what is due your subordinates. Your director, give what is due your subordinates. Your service person, give what is due your clients. Man, alone can say. Now try say now because weigh 1 kilo. And do 1 kilo. You're going to lose a lot when you engage in such businesses. You're going to lose a lot of this thing. Skills in the way meeting and so and people that engage in these businesses, if like market, if you know somebody or you're very successful, market by the close of this year, market on the wall, you come and tell me. Because God Satan is the God El is a just God.
Where are the Azaya results?
Yes. You're going to come down. Then you should not be jealous. Obi Nadia no cause jano. It's a space. Men jealousy obi. And you should not be covetous. Men ma we ni embro bi ade. Because And this, until if you watch these things I'm talking about, Osho Bible no matter, it is there. Because the Bible, the God they talk about in the Bible, the God that rule the God of the Bible is the God El, the Satan God. That is why I say Saturday is a holy day. Satan rules, the planet Saturn rules Saturday. And that's why it's a Sabbatarian God that keep the Saturday holy and do not work on Saturday, because it is a Sabbatarian God. And the Sabbatarian God is ruled by the energy Satan and ruled by the God El. You understand? So that is how his life is. He's just, you don't have to be covetous. His rules are strict and stiff. Now, you shouldn't be covetous. And the last thing is that you shouldn't be over-demanding. Or relationship, man, don't over-demand from your husband. The husband don't
The man muti.
as well as in man also don't be over-demanding from the wife.
You got the intend demand. Baba,
No, let's look at it. No, listen.
Yeah, financial demand.
No. When you say it's perspective to demand. What is demand? Demand is consciously or unconsciously anything you request of a service, financially or non-financially, from a party is a demand. So your demand may be that what about your wife wabre or no home fano when to me need and a konako to the if you force him to cook, it's a demand. So demand is not only financial. What you say Saturday or sorry not unto say oh my body my brain man to me senior take the things. If you can't wash yourself, take it to laundry. If you still demand something it's over demanding. So the demand is both sides. Because you cannot say that because marriage is polarity, it's a balance of polarity. The marriage is a balance of polarity. The men demand from the woman and the women demand from the man. And that is where the balance is created. And we're talking about balance. So if we want the balance, we'll need to achieve the balance. It is in the balance that creates life, that creates multiplicity, that creates evolvement. Now, when you are thrown off balance, we cannot progress in life. So the scale of balance, that I call the scale of justice is the scale of balance. We call judges no more way, now Muslim no more way. So I say scale be balance, but until today, it must always be straight. So the feminine energy and the masculine energy must always be balanced. So if you cannot have an internal balance with your own masculine and feminine energy, which is your SS chromosome and XY chromosomes, you should have it external, and that's why we go in and marry. So that we create the external balance. Now, when you are being over demanding, you are throwing the relationship off balance. If you have a business partner, you are over demanding from your business partner, you are throwing the business off balance. If you have employees and you are being over demanding from the employees, you are throwing your business off balance. Are you understanding me?
Yeah.
Everything must be in a balance this year. You get the whole thing. So once you can keep everything in a balance, in a check, in a balance this year, you realize that you progress steadily and consistently, and everything will be fine. So basically, that is what. So with the negative traits, you should not be greedy, you shouldn't be jealous, you shouldn't be covetous, and you shouldn't be over demanding on your partners. Now, when you look at issues with relationship, with the issue of relationship. This year, people are going to have those who want to marry. This is one of the finest years that you can attract successful partners. You understand? Yes, because this year supports, because of the balance, the energy of balance which is resonating, there's a tendency to attract your a successful partner. Okay. Not that just anybody that comes as a partner who is successful, you accept. Because you should know your element. If you're fire and you go and take somebody who is water, I'll do wuja. What you say? So probably your air who is successful. It's going to be, if you're somebody who is water and you go and take somebody who is air, you're going to have a problem because it's going to scatter every effort you're going to make. So not just general successful partnership, but partnership which is in alignment with your own energy, so that the balance is created. Because if you get a partner who is not in line with your resonation energy, then you've thrown the relationship off balance in the first place. Though the person may be physically, materially successful, but the point, the union is thrown off balance, and that off balance that has been created within the relationship will create a chaotic relationship, because there's no way fire and water, because fire and air creates a perfect balance. And even what kind of air you need to understand, because there are certain air that it doesn't inure good to the safety of fire. Carbon dioxide kills fire. It's a type of air, but it's oxygen that causes fire to burn. You understand? So they are more into, but on the general note, you're going to attract good partners, but those partners you attract, out of the partners that will come your way, select the one which is in line with your energy resonation. So if you're water, look for earth partners or water partners. If you're fire, look for fire partners or air partners. So that is a basic thing I can teach for now. Any other deeper ones, then it has to be personal one-on-one, then we can calculate much more better details that you can even go into the nitty-gritties of that partner's personality life. Because every energy resonation has its personality traits. So we can enter into the person's date of birth and the name that the person has been given. We can delve into the person's personality trait. And if you're happy with that personality trait, you can go with it.
Wow.
So that is then yes, obviously I talk about the balance already, that having the main, and then there's going to be a lot of strength in relationship. A lot of relationship will have much more stronger affinity, and then the balance will be created. Now, when we come to the negative aspect that is going to have a toll on relationship, it is control and desire for dominance. Control and the desire for dominance. Never try to dominate your relationship. It's going to destroy this year. Let everybody feel free. We are talking about balance here. So everybody should allow everybody to operate in a space. And though you are operating in your space, you check that you don't over control, you don't overgo your bounds, you don't go beyond your boundaries. So you shouldn't be over dominating when it comes to relationship. Yes, just as you shouldn't be over demanding as well. Just like in the workplace, you don't demand too much from your husband and all those things. You check on your anger level, because I tell the God Satan is a very angry God, at times. Yes, so you have to work on your anger this year, especially this year. You need to work, because the energy that is there already has anger within it, which is suppressed. So when you trigger it, it just only multiplies it for you. You need to check bitterness and jealousy as well. Now, when we come to the area of health, as Nyansa asks, because of the number 8 and the rule of Satan, there are going to be issues relating to blood pressure. That's why I just talk to you about anger. And anger is somehow connected to blood pressure. You understand? Because when you're overstressed and you have all those things, it's going to, your BP will be cholesterol. So if you check the anger, as I've said, then there's a tendency that your blood pressure will be controlled, because it's always going to have some effect on your blood pressure. So one year now, I trigger this year down any regular year, there's going to be some effect on our liver conditions. But all these things, don't let it. What I'm saying is that it's not a God. It is effect. It's in the universe. Say a bit affect you. Say affect you. I've told you don't show anger. So if you don't show anger, you shield yourself from that effect. I say unim so unsu beto wafa raincoat, and I say wafa umbrella. Say so no to you wear your raincoat and embo. But say Makacho said don't exhibit anger. I've given you the antidote to that effect. So when I apply the antidote, then you expose yourself and become vulnerable to that effect. So these things shouldn't scare you. They are just general things which are energy resonations. I say frequency. So I'm tuning to RPFM. There's no way Nyama can happen. Me radio so. So all these predictions and forecasts are just like resonation frequencies, which are that is going to have constellation effect on our planet. That's what the Bible said, that for the sun shall not smite you by day, neither would the moon by night. But so you are not say. But I didn't say ain't me and smite you, because you have shielded yourself. Because what he that you dwell in the secret place of the Most High. That secret place. And yes, maybe or question I say. You understand? There's divinity within us. If you can find that divine place, the secret place, which is the divinity within ourselves, and then let our personality go in hiding under the control of the self, it is shielded by the self. And that self is divine. And when that self is divine, and then that self shields your personality will not have, because all these things you are talking about, nevertheless, it only affects your personality. It doesn't affect the self. The self is more profound than all these things. The emotions is within the self. You get the whole thing. And it's all happening within the intellect of the self. And if you can't control that space, how do you control that space? The only way you control that space is by sending your personality under the control of the self, or under the protection of the self.
So, I think I say no, I think he say, I think I know
yes.
Nemo.
Yes.
Sooner, munu, emom bedi kan bia obedwe ne ho afiri ho gense ba ko fa de nkofo bekeka ne se ne wadwen ye wo se ne ho ye wo we de nya bi se ne we de die ne bia ne bekopa I'm telling you we just yo anymore na we da na say insu bem no bi enyen mi pat ne bi we de die ne bra na gin bia mo
Yeah.
nti sa emotions no emom no under control self no control no mbeboa.
Yes. And see, those are some of the things we need to check our intestines. We won't have intestine problem, and all those things. Yes, that's the energy which is resonating. When you know that, and we say, "What's sorry?" and say, this year, private more core some style. Quickly, you have to get remedies and things to balance it, and you'll be fine. Get some fiber-based food and with a lot of raw veggies and all those things. Get yourself hydrated properly, and it's not going to happen to you. Because all those things, you are the one who is determining whatever is happening to us. And when we talk about the emotionality of our personality, you say the emotionality of our personality comes in 2 dimensions. And that's what people. There's another comment somebody sent to me. He said that he has gotten a lot of desire, and it has never come into manifestation. Why is it so? Obi screenshot that aspect of man. Now he has a lot of positive emotions and desire to do certain things, and it never comes to real. Emotions are they come of 2 different dimensions. We have conscious emotion and unconscious emotion. We have the kind of emotions that come from your conscious mind, and the kind of emotion that comes from the subconscious mind. Now, what actually creates our manifestations are that which comes from the subconscious mind, and not that which comes from the conscious mind. And this is what people doesn't know. And this whole structure is so, when you understand phenomena, no. Because there's much more greater power inside you. All those entities are there to help you. In so to me, in frama to me, they would they are here for a reason. And that is to serve you and to help you in your earthly journey. But the point is that you must first harness your energy. As a prince, I own him so your prince. And Abawano mu feeling him so own him so your prince. Yes. But once you assume your authority as a prince, then they begin to obey you. So all other entities within manifest creation are just like servants, including the angels. They are servants
waiting for you to know yourself,
and then they work for you. What you say? So that's how. So when you generate when you have emotions that comes from your intellect, that emotion is porous emotion or inferior or primitive emotion. Let me give you what I mean by primitive emotion. Say, ya catch you say, oh nyansa, sad way is you mama so. Then all of a sudden you begin to cry. It's an emotion because you have some kind of pain, but that pain is coming from your intellect because then oti assembly and I will react to assembly. At the time you are crying, like oh na totally mistake or you so now nyansa bakubi na you when I'm instantly what happens to your tears? Dries. So that kind of emotion does not create. Because it is not strong enough to create, because it is being generated as a result of an external information. We are talking about an emotion which is generated as a result of intuitive information.
Coming from your subconscious.
Coming from the self to the subconscious. So that emotion is created within the subconscious. And that energy that is created from the subconscious, that's called the energy of life. But it is the subconscious that controls everything of your personality. The cells, how the cells has to move when you to sleep, when all those things is being done by the subconsciousness. And that's the power. That is the engine room for manifestation. So if you don't pick the frequency from the intuitive realm, which is the intuitive ESP, yes, because it's very, very simple. The answer is so simple that all our lives, our personality is directed outside of us.
Oh.
And that's why when you come and you are training you, we just train you to direct your attention inside. That's all. It's a switch of attention.
So your programming to switch your attention from the truth.
Yes, to outside.
Oh.
So yes, everything you look outside. You look outside. You look outside. You look outside.
Carry your toy. I think the NFS media, no.
Yes.
We on the outside, like
everything outside.
And the man, so they be outside.
Our actions and inactions and decisions and the things we do is based on observation. You see, and the intellect operates on observation, and the intellect develops its own forms of ESP, what we call extrasensory perception. The intellect develops its own type, a prototype of the original extrasensory perception based on accumulation of facts, figures, and observation. And we say, oh, that no me na chama sin it on Panadol. It me tell me tia me na me for Panadol. E bia ne tia ye stress. The whole day typhoid fever. Two different things. But based on accumulated information that the intellect gathered from him and the observation he saw that he was taking the Panadol, when I'm also having headache, I'll go and take Panadol. When I don't take time, I'll die. Because my headache is an effect of typhoid and not stress and then tiredness.
How should we do with our spiritual life this year in terms of prayer? In time, I say, because if you want to go back to the self, then there should be a lot of work that we need to do. In terms of your Mayan Kasa on daily basis.
Yeah, basically, prayer is very good, and we all pray directly or indirectly, consciously or unconsciously, we all pray. Prayer is basically, then we should know what is prayer. Prayer is man galvanizing all his thought energy on a particular request and building a necessary desire for that intention to bring into manifestation. That is prayer. Prayer is not no, that is not prayer. It's one form of prayer that we call it the audible prayer. But the true prayer itself is voiceless prayer. It's without audibility. That's what the Bible says, that for God hears the groundings of your heart. It's in the Bible. That's the highest form of prayer. I say, for God is so close. Then Paul was talking to them. The people were shouting, and they said, why do you shout, do all these things? For God hears the very groundings of your heart. Well, Paul, they will say that it's a New Testament. Jesus, if he's the Messiah, came, and they said that when you want to pray, don't pray like the Pharisees who stand on the mountaintop shouting and doing all these things, for they have no reward of the Father. The Father doesn't reward such kind of prayers, for they have their reward of men already. But if you want to pray, enter into thy secret closet. And when thou have shut that door behind thee, pray to thy Father in secret. That means in that art of prayer, nobody should hear what you are saying. And when thy Father that sees in secret of your prayer, he would bring your reward openly for all men to see. So true prayer is an act of concentration of the thought. Oh, anytime, there's no time. You are universal being. Every time is to your disposal, but it will be a time for your convenience.
Okay. Because
you have individual timing and individual timetable. So when I say study, say what time is convenient for you to do your spiritual exercise, because it's an individual thing. In Tisabia, I said 3 o'clock. Me, ideally, I love around 3 o'clock. And there was an last message, I said almost around 3 o'clock. I love around 3 o'clock because at the time of 3 o'clock, there's serenity in the atmosphere. The energies are positive because yes, at a certain time to their other highway, what you say, they are going up and down, 11, 12, 1, 2, just going up and down. But when it's 3 o'clock, they all begin to recede to their various dimensions or their various spheres. Then our terrestrial airspace is cleared from all those jam traffic of other energies, both polarities. Because yes, the angels come, and then what we call the demons also come, those polarity. So we realize that when David was wrestling with the angel, it says dawn was about to break and it's about to get. And they said, no, this is not my domain. I need to leave and go. So leave me. Say, no, I'll not leave you, and then extract, because they didn't want the daylight to come. So basically, when that period of that cluster of elements and energy is struggling and doing their own thing is over, around 3 o'clock thereabout, it's a quiet time. You can wake up and do your prayer. Pray whichever way you deem fit and necessary. However you deem God to be, and whoever you deem it to be. If your God is in Muhammad, pray to Muhammad. If your God is in Jesus Christ, pray to Jesus Christ. If your God is in Buddha, pray to your God in Buddha. If your God is in libation pouring, pour your libation. If your God is in Krishna, be with Krishna. If your God is in dwarfs and all those things, be with your God. If your God is in ayahuasca, be with that God. But you will be with these gods, and it will be very effective if you know who you are. Because without you knowing who you are, all the prayer you do are vain imagination and vain repetition. Jesus said something. He said that you pray and you don't receive answers to your prayer because why? You pray amiss.
We person we hear na on you din komo ko details na we can on picking one on one on hear one kasa ne de na on check actually we say den na if adwuma sam ne ma be na menya we person regaining the consciousness by say the self no be hunu a him fa no betimi hu a kwan.
Normally I share your word dansuman hey sorry when you go dansuma you too free dansuma say your office work aswa
Kra makodansuma.
say ohana mini did my everything, so I'm just used to the environment. Say ya share work aswa commercial bank in the opposite. Commercial bank, we are behind the Fidelity building no.
Commercial bank is the new market no.
New market. Before we do new market, that to school. Before we do new market, there's the commercial bank. We see all a bus stop. Into see what opposite the commercial bank is the Fidelity Bank, just behind the Fidelity Bank building. And you know, so also per se or followers. We do a lot of teachings online. There are a lot of things like personality, lucky number. You don't need to come to me. For some of these things, you don't need to go for consultations. We have done all these teachings on our YouTube handle. No, it's all called
The Way
Networks. S-count, The Way Networks. And our subscriber, all those teachings are there. Looking your lucky partner, your lucky days, and into details, taking it each date by each date. So no matter the date you are born, ubehu ewoho. So obi super so offer obetimi afre 0243 732861 0243 732861. The me person me can say I would prefer people say